Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today I have come with this video because there are 4 perfumes with me. These are actually samples that I got. I bought them actually, and I bought 4 of these. I bought 4 of these for 500 rupees. So you can imagine how happy that made me. So these are all from Atelier des Ors. And actually I have 2 perfumes from this brand. Like I have Lune Feline and I have Crepuscule d'SMS. So when I saw these 4 were on offer, I wanted to try them out and see if I would want to buy any more from this brand. So this is not an opportunity that we get every time in India. This is like suddenly this came up and I actually jumped to it because I know as a perfume reviewer and as a buyer, I know how important this can be when you are making an expensive purchase. And since I have these, and I think many of my viewers on my channel, they kind of relate to me as far as perfume preferences are concerned. Like I've got messages from many of you on Instagram and even in the comments section. I read all the comments. So from many of you that you liked what I suggested or recommended. So going by that, I think if I give you a review of these 4, it will be easier for you to decide what you want, if you want to buy any of these, and if you don't want to buy. So let's get started. So Atelier des Ors, as we say it in English probably, I mean it's a French brand, so obviously the names are in French, and it's actually, I think, Atelier des Ors. I mean we butcher a lot of names in French when we try to attempt them from an English point of view, but I hope I'm forgiven for whatever mistakes I'm making right now, and I'm sure I am. But let's go by Atelier des Ors because that's the least offensive it can sound. Now the first fragrance that I have here with me is called it's Cuir Sacre. I think I got it right, but I found out that the name actually translates to sacred leather. When I found out that it is about sacred leather, so automatically I understood that it has got to do with a leather note. Now this, to be very honest with you, this is my first experience, encounter with a leather note. I have always kind of shied away from buying perfumes with a leather note because I am not convinced if I will like it, or I'm full of apprehensions as to how would that be. Leather note, animalic notes, I'm not sure. So until the time that I can actually walk into a store and try it out before buying, I'm not going to blind buy an expensive or even a medium expensive perfume for a note which contains a note that I'm not very confident about. So this is my first experience with a leather note, and let's see how it goes. It's very spicy and very woody, that's what I'm getting. So let's spray some on the skin. Okay, there's a note of freshness, but then there's this deep spiciness and a deep woody smell. Okay, I guess I get the leather note. I think that is the leather note. Okay, in between the spiciness and the woodiness, that's what a leather note is all about. Okay, so let's get the notes first and then we'll discuss the perfume. It's very new. This is a very new experience for me because I have never, as I just told you, I've never encountered a leather note or any animalic notes before. So this definitely as I told you, it's spicy and woody for someone like me, someone new like me. So it's definitely, it has a spicy note and a woody note. So let's get the notes in detail. The top notes comprise of cypress, juniper berries and cardamom. Yes, the cardamom is quite prominent, The middle notes comprise of saffron, incense and cedar. The base notes comprise of leather, vetiver and nagar motha. Now I'm getting the woodiness and the spiciness, and exactly there's incense, so I'm getting a strong wave of incense also. As I just said, leather notes, I mean, if that is the leather note, then of course, as I said, I'm very new to it, so it would be best that I don't say too much about it. Vetiver, yes, I'm getting it. And then nagar motha, I'm going to say something about this particular ingredient because I think I know a little more about it. I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but many of these ingredients used in perfumes, they are sourced from India, or at least they are found in India. And this name nagar motha, I mean, if I go by Hindi, or I think it's a Gujarati, it's found in Gujarat. So I think in Hindi or in Indian languages, it would be more translated more as nagar mathua. I have heard about it, and this is a very, very good ingredient when it comes to skincare. And I think earlier days, this was used very commonly in skincare products, and this is actually used on its own as a skincare product. And there was a point of time when I was looking for this product myself. I was searching for it all over the place because I've heard about its skincare properties. So nagar mathua is also a part. I have noticed that this particular nagar motha, this particular ingredient has been is present in many of the Atelier des Ors fragrances, and this is one of them. So now I'll give you my opinion about it. See, I like intense fragrances. There's nothing different about that, but maybe this and these fragrances are all unisex, so anybody can wear them, both men and women. But if you ask me, this is more for a man than a woman, especially someone with my kind of taste. Now understand this, I don't feel uncomfortable with Tom Ford fragrances like Fabulous or Tobacco Vanille or Shanghai Lily and things like that. But I feel uncomfortable with fragrances like leather oud and Tuscan leather and tobacco oud. That was the first time I had smelled oud and I did not like it. But now oud is one of my favorite perfumes. So Cuir Sacre, as I'm saying this, would not be my favorite purchase because I would not know the best time to wear it. The kind of fragrances I wear, I don't know when I can wear this. So this is a little too complicated as far as I'm concerned. I like more playful fragrances and more likable ones, and this is not exactly likable at first go. You need to have a certain taste and certain definite kind of approach towards fragrances to be able to like this. So I'm not sure I like it right now, so I will definitely give this a pass, and let's move on to the next fragrance. And that's just my opinion, guys, but I'm not saying that you have to feel the same way, but definitely not a blind buy. You can go ahead and sniff it and buy a sample if available near you, or sample it out at the stores, buy a decant, something like that. Don't buy the full bottle right away. And this is again going by the fact that many of you approve of my recommendations, so I think we are on the same page as far as perfume preferences are concerned, and this is certainly not a blind buy fragrance as far as I am concerned. So I would suggest buy a decant or a sample first before making the decision. The next fragrance that I have here is Iris Fauve. Okay, So we can understand that the main note is iris in this. But then this is not exactly the sharp powdery note of iris. Okay, one more thing I did not tell you at the start is that, you know, these have been lying with me for over 2 weeks now, but I have not sampled them before. This is the first time I'm actually sniffing it. I just took some notes as far as the, took some information as far as the notes are concerned, but I have not sniffed them and kind of sampled them out. This is the first time I'm trying them out in front of you. So this is also my first impressions about these fragrances. Okay, there's a little creaminess about this iris. So oh, definitely very beautiful. Oh, it's amazing. Okay, every Atelier des Ors fragrance over here seems to have a story. So the other one was like sacred leather, as I told you. This one is this is like iris is the messenger of Greek gods. So keeping that in mind, you know, these are like inspired fragrances, and I think there's a lot of divine appeal that has been tried to they have tried to bring out a lot of divinity in this fragrance, like something like a fragrance fit for the gods themselves. So definitely this is reaching there, and let's see the notes first. So the top notes have bergamot, cinnamon and iris. The middle notes have patchouli, Haitian vetiver, cypriol oil or nagarmotha. Again, this one has nagarmotha. The base notes comprise of myrrh, musk, labdanum and litrus. Okay, this is beautiful. Okay, I'm getting patchouli, but when I'm sniffing it over here, I'm getting the vetiver on my skin. I'm getting bergamot and the cinnamon, and you know, there's a lot of freshness at the top. Okay, the vetiver, yes. I don't know if I thought there might be vanilla over here, but there's a little creaminess over there, but I don't know if there's any other ingredient that's giving it. There's a little the iris is not as sharp as I've encountered it in many other fragrances with vanilla, you know, like iris is far more powdery. Here the powderiness is kind of subdued to a beautiful subtle, in a very beautiful subtle manner. So that is definitely, maybe the patchouli is balancing it out. The powderiness is very, I mean, not sweet, like very well rounded, well blended in a way. Okay, so the iris is beautifully blended with the other ingredients. I mean, it's not like singled out as just an iris fragrance. You cannot call this just an iris fragrance. In my opinion, this is beautiful. Okay, this is very beautiful. This is much more likable than the other one, the Cuir Sacre one. This is definitely worth buying. Again, I am not 100% sure if you should go for the full bottle. I think it's safer to go for, because these are expensive fragrances, these are niche perfumes, these are expensive perfumes, and it's better to be absolutely sure if it meets with your taste, if it meets with your preferences, perfume preferences. So iris is a very likable note. On that note, I can suggest that you buy this. I always suggest a blind buy on the basis of the fact that I will buy a full bottle just by this. So whether or not, I think this is much more likable. This is very likable, and as it is drying down, this is only getting, the powderiness is getting more vibrant, and it is very likable, but still if you get a chance to buy a decant first, go for this before anything. Iris Fauve is definitely a front runner. So at the end of the video, I'll tell you which are the 2 among the 4 that I will go for first, and which is the one that I will never buy, and which is the one I will think twice before buying. So let's wait for it. So the next fragrance that I have here with me is Larmes Du Desert. I think Larmes, not Larmes, it's French, so it's going to be Larmes Du Desert. And this means this actually translates in English to Tears of the Desert. Now why they have picked up a name like that, I don't know, but maybe they have tried to inspire themselves with the other side of the desert life, the darkness and the tough life, maybe the rough and tough life of the desert. Yeah, that is possible. You know, the ruggedness and the roughness of the desert, the stern, how should I describe it, the dry climate, the heat and the sandstorms. You know, there's a lot of roughness in the desert. So Tears of the Desert. And why should it be named as such? If you can find out something about the fragrance. This is very spicy and very woody, and at the same time very fresh. Okay, let's hear the notes first. Let's hear what's the notes. Incense and cypress form the top notes. Middle notes comprise of patchouli, guaiac wood and cedar. Base notes comprise of citruses, amber, benzoin and woodsy notes. So woodsy, definitely lot of woodiness. I'm not getting too much of patchouli, but I'm getting I'm kind of blinded by woodiness, and both the first one and this one, they both fall in the same category. There's a lot of woodiness, but the spiciness in that one is much more than this one. This one it's a different kind of woodiness, you know. There is citruses and there's amber. Yes, amber is a very prominent note in this, and there's amber. This is more of an amber and wood and incense kind of a fragrance. This is a dominant incense and amber fragrance with a lot of woodiness in between. So this fragrance was actually brought out as a dedication, as a homage to the Middle Eastern region and to the amount of contribution to perfumery that has come from that region. So it was dedicated to the deserts, and this hence the name and hence the raw appeal of the fragrance. This is not, in my opinion, though this is an unisex fragrance, this is not, in my opinion, the best feminine fragrance, and this is not even aimed at being one. Let's understand this, ladies. If you are buying a feminine fragrance, if you want to buy a feminine fragrance, don't buy this. This is not for you. But then there will be many of you who are like those ardent fragrance enthusiasts, and you like to explore different kinds of perfumes in your life, and it does not matter whether it's feminine or it's more towards masculine appeal. This fragrance can appeal to you, and it's just that I will not buy this because I don't know when and where to wear this. When do I put this on? Now it's more like woody and incensey, the incense and the woodiness, and little topped with a little freshness. I don't know, little bit of the freshness, and I just don't think this is for me. So that's my opinion. But again, do buy a decant, do not buy the full bottle. Decant would be the best idea. The last fragrance that I have here with me is Aube Rubis, and I think I've got the name correctly again. Aube Ruby or Rubies, yeah. And again in English this translates, Aube means dawn, so I think it's going to be like a ruby dawn, you know, the ruby color. It's about dawn. Okay, so this again, this fragrance is inspired by light and life. You know, light, I think, especially by the name, the dawn, you know, I think it is like inspired by the light, the first light at daybreak. You know, it's that golden red color that breaks out of the darkness, so it's inspired by that light. And the first break of dawn, as we call it also. This is beautiful. Oh, this is beautiful. This fragrance is inspired by the several stages of the day, like, you know, the morning lights and then the afternoon heat, or, you know, it's obviously much more warmer as we go towards the noon and afternoon hours of the day, and then it slowly calms down in the evening hours. So it's inspired by all that, so the changing time and light of the day. So definitely, so it's not like you have to find that, you have to understand that in a fragrance, but when you just sniff it, it's that beautiful, it's a beautiful, you know, patchouli, and there's a vetiver, a few unique ingredients that have come out, and then there's bergamot at the top, so that freshness is there, unmistakable freshness is there. And it's a fragrance which you can wear. I think I could wear this all the year round. This is a typically round the year of kind of a fragrance we worn throughout the year, and this definitely, Aube Rubis, is one of those fragrances. You can wear it in the evening, you can wear it in the morning, you can wear it in summer, fall, winter, all the time. And I think so far this is my favorite, and I will probably go with this. But I also like Iris Fauve. I think this is also very silky on the skin. Iris is kind of shining in the dry down, and it's definitely, after a while, it's blooming much more than the initial impression. So for me, if you ask me, these are the two favorites, Iris Fauve and Aube Rubis. These are my two favorites. I could possibly go with the blind buy of, they'll not be blind buys anymore because I have the samples with me. So if I have to buy one out of these two, it will be the Aube Rubis, definitely. And then I could go for Iris also, but you know, Iris is actually one of my favorite notes after patchouli. I love Iris, the powderiness of the Iris, and maybe I'll think about it, because this is also beautiful. Both of these are very, very attractive, very, very likable fragrances. The other two, Larmes Du Desert and Cuir Sacre, is definitely very unique fragrances. There's a lot of artwork in these bottles, there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of artwork, there's a lot of thought, and a lot of you know, artistic imagination and artistic experimenting that has gone into it. There's no doubt about it. It's just that I'm not sure if these two are fit for women, and especially those women with extremely feminine tastes in fragrances. You know, there are women who would like to explore, who like masculine fragrances, who would like to explore more through all the other genres of fragrance. For them it's fine. I'm only suggesting, I'm not making any decisions for any one of you. I'm only suggesting that you buy a decant or a sample first, and then decide on purchasing a full bottle, because 100 ml or 50 ml is a lot of product, and if you don't like it that much, you will not be able to spend it, you know, kind of use it properly or even finish it easily. So it will be a waste of the fragrance. So that way it is, I think, more viable that you buy a decant or a sample first and then make your decision. So that's my short video. I hope it is short video for this evening, and I will be back tomorrow possibly with another video. I don't want to divulge on what it is right now. So I hope you liked this video as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you, and I'll see you very soon. But till then, do stay indoors, don't underestimate the situation around you, and do not take risks. Don't go out if the authorities have asked you to stay indoors to maintain social distance and to maintain an environment of social isolation. It means you have to stay at home and not mingle with anyone. So even if that means you don't, and that also means that you can't take your evening walks or your, you know, daily trips to the grocery store. So if you can you know, buy stuff online and get them delivered to your doorstep, make sure that you do that carefully as well. Try and avoid as much social contact and as much venturing out as possible. Always wear your masks, and don't forget to sanitize your hands or wash your hands as frequently as possible. And do not forget not to go for handshakes, hugs, kisses when you meet someone. Please guys, please keep these you know, these precautions in mind. And every day we hear so many distressing reports from all over the world about people losing their lives and more people getting infected with COVID-19. So it's only right that we do our best to protect ourselves. Life is a beautiful gift, and we should always do our best, our utmost to protect ourselves, and please do that. So till I see you next time, lots of love, stay blessed and take care. Bye.